Hi, are you under contract with a new home and your home inspector has asked you if you wanted to do a radon test? Have you always wondered whether the home you have now should be checked for radon? Today we're going to cover what is radon, how do you check the radon levels, and what do you do if the radon levels are too high? Right now. Hi everyone. While I've been a realtor in the Salt Lake area since 2005, I'm not a qualified radon inspector. However, many of my buyers have had radon tests done during their due diligence period, so I'm somewhat experienced in the process of radon testing and remediation. I spoke with the folks at Pillar to Post Home Inspections to get their insight on what I should show you today. Great people, and their contact info is below. Okay, what is radon? And a lot of this information comes from the EPA. So radon is a naturally occurring radioactive gas that can cause lung cancer, and radon gas is inert, colorless, and odorless. Sometimes even your granite countertops can have some radon in them. Radon is naturally in the atmosphere in trace amounts, and outdoors, radon disperses rapidly and generally is not a health issue. But most radon exposure occurs inside homes, schools, and workplaces. Radon gas becomes trapped indoors after it enters the buildings through cracks and other holes in the foundation. Indoor radon can be controlled and managed with proven cost-effective techniques, but breathing radon over time increases your risk for lung cancer. Testing is really the only way to determine radon levels. Have your home tested, either by a professional or with a do-it-yourself home testing unit that you can buy online. If radon levels are too high, contact a certified radon service professional to remediate the problem. EPA guidance suggests that you should mitigate the levels if they are above 4 picocuries per liter. Usually radon problems are fixed using an underground ventilation system or by increasing the rate of air changes in the building. In Utah, the average indoor level of radon is 1.2. Typical indoor levels range from about 0.8 to 2.7. The action level for indoor radon is when it goes above 4. And the goal is to get the radon level down to 2 after remediation. Tests. You can use a self-test canister to measure radon levels, but they're not very accurate. Most of these require 30 days to 6 months to actually get good results. Most home inspection companies will use something called a continuous monitor, and this device is placed in the home for a minimum of 48 hours. The results are collected real time and then averaged out, and the data is downloaded and reports are created on site. The average price for a radon test is about $150 to $200. So let's talk about remediation. The goal of radon remediation is to reduce the number of paths for radon to get into the house. One way is to seal any cracks and gaps between the slab and foundation wall. Another is to provide an alternate path for the radon. In my experience, I've seen two basic types of remediation used to reduce radon levels. These are either the active or passive sub-slab ventilation. There are others tailored more for crawl spaces, but that method is outside the scope of this video. Please check with your inspector as to the best method for your home. Okay, so let's look at the passive method. This system works with the help of air pressure differences and currents. The wind blowing over the vent creates a negative pressure that sucks out the radon gas. In addition, this vent also provides a path of least resistance for the radon gas to pass through. A passive system is not as efficient as an active radon mitigation system. However, the system can reduce radon levels 30 to 70%. So let's talk about the remediation I see the most, and that's the active subslab ventilation. Now, the active method can reduce radon levels by up to 90%. The setup of this system involves a PVC pipe, usually a 4-inch diameter pipe, and it's inserted through the foundation into the soil beneath. The other end of the pipe is routed to the house's exterior and from there to the top of the roof line. A radon fan is installed in this pipe or on the outside of the house. Now, the pipe can go through the house and vent to the roof through the attic, or it can go to the outside of the house and up above the roof line. Let's look at costs. Of course, costs vary, but in my experience, I've seen most active or passive systems cost from about $1,000 to $2,000, depending upon the size of the home and the ease of access to the basement or to the roof. So here's the process that you should follow after your home inspection. Typically, when you're buying a home, the home inspector will offer additional services beyond the normal home inspection. These are often radon, meth, and mold inspections. During your due diligence period, you should always have your home inspected by a professional home inspector. If you're having a radon test done, your inspector will leave behind a collection sensor, and they'll pick that up within a couple of days. Be sure to have your realtor know that you plan on having a radon test so that he can tell the listing agent. This will ensure that the seller will not touch the box during the collection period. Also, make sure to have your testing done early in your due diligence period so that you can get the results in time to negotiate any inspection repairs or radon remediation before your due diligence deadline. The inspector will be able to give you the results of the radon test the same day or the next day after the collection box is retrieved. Typically, if the radon level is below 4, there's no remediation required. If the results are above 4, however, the buyer has several choices. The choices are that the buyer can cancel for due diligence, they can negotiate with the seller to have part or all of the remediation costs paid by the seller, or the buyer may decide to continue the purchase and handle the remediation later. Typically, the passive or active remediation takes about 2 days to install into the house. So obviously, the seller will want to make sure that the buyer is able to close on the house before they will allow any remediation to be done to their home. Your realtor should be able to work with the listing agent to figure out the best way to handle any remediation. The good news is that most radon results are below 4, and you won't have to deal with any remediation. For those of you who have an existing home and want radon tests, you can get them done by most home inspection companies. Feel free to contact me and I can give you a list of quality home inspectors that I have used in the past. And be sure to watch my videos on getting a home inspection, and I also have videos on meth tests and mold tests. Thanks, appreciate it.